So as it's nearly spring, I decided to go to the spring of the Thames. We're going to do it with wild camping. We're going to walk all 200 miles, hopefully. Yep, dead bridge. The bridge is unsafe. Shall we? Don't think about the white bear. They're growing. On this spot, on this spot, on this spot. Where's the travelator? I want to speak to the management. And this is the bucket of democracy. I'm really liking this view of the Thames. So if you want to follow me up the river, please hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, or share with your friends because it helps the channel. It's 6:30. A slightly difficult night, mostly because of my eczema. Fairly hidden here, so there is, you might be able to see it. But I haven't heard that many dogs. There was one at 4:45. Who walks their dog at like 4 in the morning? Well, I touched it and it went up to 15.2, but it was 14 odd. And the low was 9. I'm glad I let myself sleep a bit longer rather than try and pack up at 5, which is what the original plan was. Oh, and I managed to burn a hole in the tent last night. I keep damaging this tent, this is not good. I think I might actually just, pack up, take the tent down, and then try and have breakfast elsewhere. Yeah, it's fleeing the scene. This is the Laleham Park. Very nice. Apart from the dogs. I had a fracas with the dog. And it came into as I was literally leaving, it came into the wood. It started barking with me, and the owner had to come in, and then I was like, "Where's the ball?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And it was just quite scary. Nice dogs, I love nice dogs. It's just those. There seems to be a lot of angry dogs. It's wonderful when you find a bench like this. In my hurry to get out of there, I forgot to film or take pictures of the even the empty site, or I just was like, tent down. Finally breakfast. Onwards to Staines, about delightful as the name would suggest. River is beautiful. Yeah, I'm making Bluey references now. See how clear that is here. It's not murky old Thames now. 8:30 and let's go. Irony is, yes, I was camping by a campsite, but it's closed till April. And in fact, there was a camping and caravanning club site in Chertsey of all places, which was, I think, open. It was hard to tell, I couldn't tell from the website. But yeah, I think it started at like 15 quid. I didn't end up in Chertsey anyway, so. But that was always a fallback. So yeah, it used to be more like that, and now it seems to be more like this. This is new. Don't think about the white bear. Why? We have a tap cupboard. Also have toilets here. That's good to know. Penton hook lock. It's the case that most, if not all, locks have water and toilets. So they're a bit of a walker's friend. But put a lot of that behind gates, so you can't use the toilets and you can't use the water. It's nice they didn't do that here. Staines is getting a bit unplugged. Yeah, what I remember, I had no memory of Laleham Park or any of that. What I remember from the walk previously was the strangeness of people's gardens. A bit like earlier we had the flag of the day, which I was a great idea. There were some strange sculptures in one, I think that was in this part of the walk, which I used for a podcast cover actually. But yeah, I was taking pictures of the strange sculptures, and it's not just gnomes, there's some weird sculptures in people's gardens. And you get to see a lot of people's gardens on this walk. And the river as well, but mostly gardens. Shipwreck! Yeah, that's definitely abandoned. I was going to say, Staines has become quite posh, but this is pre-Staines. This is a pre-stained wash, I suppose. Back there was the Mercure Thames Lodge being set up, and they were doing up the Victoria Gardens. Yeah, this is kind of pre-Staines. That's more Staines. That's what we're going into. Even inexplicable public sculptures. This is new. I assume it's swan-upping. I assume he's swan-upping, which is when they count the swans, because they're king's swans, and the royal swans. But still, okay. I was just going to ask why they had to say River Thames. That's because this is joined by the River Colne. The Colne Valley, which is currently being attacked by the HS2, I think. And more random, though older public art. Nicer sort though. And that's Staines Bridge, which we're going to cross. Bingo. Another boat with flowers in it. I don't know why people do this. They're growing. I think it's an unrelated path, but I'm not totally sure. Oh, we'll find out. The other map was terrible. This is making it much clearer. Yeah, there's a bridge over there which you cross on the map, and looks like it's out. Oh, or we go and have a look to see definitely if it is. They might have fixed it. Yep, dead bridge. Typical Surrey. They don't fix it. They just divert you. 14th of March. What, 11 days ago? 6 months. Do I dare it? Do I dare? How fragile can it be? So, there's a gap here. The bridge is unsafe. Shall we? If I stay by the edges. Okay. This is very stupid. And hopefully I won't appear on some kind of YouTuber fails video. Yeah. Keep to the edges. So now I've shot score. I can't believe I'm doing this over a closed bridge. It's closed due to... Oh, this is dumb. Keep to the side. Because now I can't get out. Yeah, we can't get out. That's funny. I thought there might be a way out. Though it looks like people have climbed over it. I'm not sure I can climb that without dying. It's more dangerous than the bridge. Back again. So close. The funny thing is, the bridge was less scary than the thought of going over one of those. They were quite well secured as well. Sometimes you just lift them. You have to walk all the way back again after that drama. Yeah. Bridge to nowhere. I'm on the bridge to nowhere. That was bridge over troubled water. No bridge too far. Tesla? Lots of Teslas. Trust Elon to go for the scary automated guard systems. The turrets from Portal, anyone? Those things scare me. Glad to be of service to you. There's no good in having automated guard dogs like that. Nothing good will come of it. Welcome to Runnymede, I guess. This diversion's horrible. Staines is competing with Reading. It's becoming a bit of a Reading. Tesla, IDP, I saw VMware following the cycle route, but I'm not sure. I've got a green man, better run across before. There. Get run over. I was right about the area around the M25. I mean, it wouldn't be very quiet, but leaky. Some sites, you know, when the construction's going on all night. The M25 never sleeps. It's like the M3. That was all pretty much all night last night. Got a bit quieter, but you know, it just M25 is always busy. For those outside the UK, the London M25 is in the orbital, the London Loops, or London Circular. So there was supposed to be 3 of them, and that's a joining of 2 and 3, because the war happened, and then by the time they started them up again, people didn't want to be next to a big motorway. Things have changed. The 50s, yes, but 60s, 70s, like, nope, we want to keep our Victorian things. Aha. I've heard about this, and John's talked about this. My partner. In Runnymede, they found Bronze Age stuff in. That's why that hasn't been built on, but it's remains of a Bronze Age settlement. So again, this wasn't the bridge I was thinking of. They've even got CCTV down here. I assume the CCTV is to stop people coming and living down here. You got a horrible detour at Windsor. I mentioned because of the Datchet thing. I remember really cursing the people of Datchet. King or Queen didn't, that was it was back then, didn't want you going to Windsor Great Park or Windsor Old Park. And then, the people of Datchet's like, no, you can't go to our gardens. So it's horrible going through roads. On the way to Runnymede and Windsor, the riverbank is private. No benches. So yeah, they privatised the lock, privatised the riverbank, and they've also can't be bothered to fix the scary bridge. Oh, I can see a bench. My goodness. Where have you been for the last 2 miles? Doesn't get a better lunch spot than this though. Thanks, Springy. Even the geese are leaving me alone. I bought myself some posh sourdough, gluten-free rolls, and as usual, homemade crispy bacon, and the I think it's Aldi, it could be Lidl. Yeah, it's Lidl actually. They both do this smoked German cheese, which is really nice. Better than Leerdammer. The Leerdammer is a bit plasticky. I probably could actually have a different kind of cheese, but I've just got so used to just automatically reaching for these kind of German smoked cheeses because they last a long time, even in summer. They don't go weird. It doesn't really look like Liz, Queen. Anyway, Runnymede, the birthplace of freedom. It isn't the same thing as the Bill of Rights. We're still subjects of the King or Queen, and it's not the same thing. It's not like our constitution. We don't actually have a written constitution. It's just it has a certain rights. 800 years ago, over 800 years ago, I always have that playing in my head. The Clashers know your rights. You have the rights as long as you don't try and use them. On this spot, he's doing some very heavy lifting around here. On this spot. I don't think it actually no. It's an island. It could be there, it could be anywhere. Somewhere around here. On this spot. Everywhere it's on this spot. On this spot. We created strange sculptures. On this spot we have a tea room. On this spot there is a dog called Spot. On this spot we actually have a massive ditch. This is the American Bar Association's tribute to the Magna Carta. Democracy. It's a nice idea. Great when we have it. I can do my best, Philomena Cunk. On the spot, on this day. On this spot. On this spot, on this day. Apparently the ABA, 1957, the ABA met here. So of course that means you've got to have a temple. Okay. Ooh. That's quite a nice idea, I suppose. And it's open to the sky. This is quite a nice space. Where John Reed will manufacturing the water. That's a nice idea. I was going to make another comment about random art, but I check while it's on. Yeah, I must go and have a piss, because if I do not want to cause an international scandal by peeing on the JFK memorial. We'll get arrested by the FBI or something. I think given all the paths next to it, up to behind the trees, I think a lot of other people had the same reactions as me, like, that's really nice, oh I really need to have a pee now. And suddenly, without a passport, I'm on American soil. Yeah, this is the JFK Memorial, the steps up to it. And this land was donated by the Queen to America in '65 for a memorial to JFK. What I don't know is why this is here. I suppose it's to associate JFK with democracy. I can't see many Americans making the ascent up here. Where's the travelator? Where's the escalator? I want to speak to the management. The long and winding road. It goes on for ages. I'll go to the top here. If there's more steps, I'm stopping. I think this is where I'll stop. So yeah, to these truths we hold self-evident. This is the Kennedy Memorial. And we are in America. Yeehaw! Sadly, I can't answer silent. It is interesting how lights are on the field, on this spot, spot. 800 years later, Liz, former Queen, had a bit of a shindig because it was Big Bad John, King John, who, it's horrible. It's a reason why he was known as a tyrannical king. And then he tried to tax the barons then said no, and then seized his treasury in London. He couldn't pay his soldiers, so he was blackmailed into agreeing to having to obey the law, and that there'd be certain rights to all men, and only men, pretty much. Yeah, it's kind of weird that she was like, yeah, this is a good thing, even though actually, yeah, my distant ancestor was held to ransom over it. Wow. And this is the bucket of democracy. Old Windsor Lock. All fenced off. What are we doing? We apparently can't go around here. We have to go to the new cut. We go over. Again, a lot of this is just going over and over, back and forth. So it's like, yeah, and then we do the Datchet. It's the home park, it's Windsor Park. And then we go back over again to Victoria Bridge to Windsor proper, I think. Something like that. Start below this, so who done this? So we've done all of that. Got all that to go. I have walked Reading, Goring, all of this up to Abingdon. What I haven't done is this bit. So that's going to be the fun bit, and I want on this trip to at least get to Oxford, even if I do this part in a different time. It all depends on how well we do. I didn't remember flooding was a problem, and also being on the right side was an issue in Goring. Really are getting rural at this point. This is old Windsor. A lot smaller Thames. So this might be. Oh, this is the cut, isn't it? So this is not the old smaller Thames. This is going to cut and rejoin. Yes. It's getting more countrified. Not Windsor Castle. A mini version. Wow, they are low. Oh, Slough is Heathrow, so they are coming to land. Oh, you shouldn't have. Maybe I will try the alternate route. This looks a bit less boggy. Yes. If you like insects and mud, that's the place. I think it must be part of the estate. That's where the Thames path used to go, through there, through Old Windsor Park. I'm really liking this view of the Thames. It hasn't got any better over the years. Ooh. You see tantalising glimpses of the Thames, but then it's gone. Someone's back garden. This is what you could have had if you had $1 million to spare. Oh, sod it, gonna walk it. Maybe I just need to go over there. There's no problem with that. Tough. But I can't get across that. Not with 50 cars a minute. Okay, how do I get across there without dying? So that's the side we should be, because soon there's going to be a path running off that. But there isn't pavement. You can see why I hate this part of the Thames Path. It is, you've got to cross a busy road, which is an A road or an all but name, several times. Queenieland, or Kingyland, I suppose. Yeah. Kingyland. And there we have the castle. If I only go closer than that, I might do. But yeah, blah blah blah. Queen Elizabeth, blah blah blah. King Charles, blah blah blah. Liz left the light on and burnt it down, and it had to be rebuilt at our expense. Bye bye. Kingy's playground. We're going that way. How do I get down there? Is it like before, or is it like a path down here? Yep, here's the destroyed former entry gate. Used to be, Thames Path used to come through here. That is why you have to go all the way through Datchet and that horrible road and all of that. Around miles, just because for some reason Queen didn't want people to be walking through her property. And it just stops right there. Yeah, this place looks very leaky, and angling is allowed here, so it would be a good place to pretend to be an angler. Coming up to Windsor Bridge, of course it is chucking it down. I'm looking for somewhere dry to sit down. I'm sure everyone else is. It's always pay to sit, especially in a place like Windsor. Very touristy. Pay to sit, pay to be dry, pay to be warm. So, the weather. I did check the weather before I came out, and there was a few little bits of rain. And it was like, okay, what happens the last week is that it's been saying, oh, lots of rain, I was worried about it. And then it would just turn out to be little sprinkles. Whereas actually, yeah, it might be like this for the week. Because I made the insane decision to keep going. Completely insane. When it's like this, who's going to stop me camping by the river? There's going to be no one around. Windsor, surprisingly, has lots of options. Around the railway bridge on the other side, there's quite a lot of places that look very good for camping. So I'm not expecting high winds, so I might just camp along the river. But it's if it was later on, I'd tend to go somewhere. Obviously, I have to be aware of how high that water is, and if it's raining upstream, it's going to get higher. So I will be up on the bank, on the river bank. I'm not going to be right close down. I've already slathered myself with my hedge witch because there's see these little flies. I do actually have a midge net. I might use it. But I mean, seriously, like this, and I'm mostly in my tent anyway. I'm not going to be gallivanting around. But luckily, with my charcoal stove, I can cook in my tent, so safely, because it's clean. Does great CO2 and is happy outside. Although I say safely, as I said, I managed to burn a hole in my. I was being Smokey Bear. I was stopping a forest fire. Yeah, it's hard to explain what happened. It's sort of, I found out the hard way that you can't put, for some I don't understand this at all. Usually on alcohol stoves you can put the simmering over while it's operational. It turns out with a speedster stove, what it does is actually the flames come from underneath the sides. It doesn't smother it properly. I was trying to deal with it, a leaf fell onto it and then it went flame. So I picked it up, blew it out, and then one of the cinders fell on the floor of the tent. Another one. Shipwreck. Not the first time I'm saying I can't believe I'm doing this. But I really want to get this done. And if I stop when there's a little bit of rain, this will never get done. But yeah, I'm completely crazy for doing this. So it is beautiful. That's a good place. It's a bit early. Maybe if I'm pretending to be a fisherman, but yeah, I'm crazy for doing this. Completely crazy. I want to get it done. But yeah, ask me tomorrow. Shipwreck or sculpture, I can't decide. Or maybe both. And again, not, I think it's just fallen logs, but it looks like a ship. Unfortunately, that's the last recordings for day 9. I set up opposite Oakley Court at Eton Dorney Lake in the woods. I couldn't find a better site. Dorney Lakes was built for the 2012 Olympics. There is quite an open, unfenced wildwood right by the river. I had a nice pasta meal. It was chorizo, bacon and tomato, and went to bed. So that's the end of day 9. We covered 15.8 miles. The total was 105.3 miles. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did enjoy this, check out the next day when it's available, and I'll speak to you soon.